Today I was going to talk about procrastination, but I think I'm going to leave that for another time. How many times do we procrastinate, putting off for tomorrow what we can do today? This is what we're going to dive into today's episode, and super excited to get started. So let's take a deep breath. And let's dive in. Jokingly, procrastination like that, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it another time. I'm quite literally sandwiched in between two really important meetings here in my day. And I'm honestly ready to press that record button thinking, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, I'll do it after. And it just triggered something in me that I wanted to share about the whole concept and idea of procrastination, because it really is the killer of creativity and the killer of success in the game of entrepreneurship. So what causes this procrastination? Well, ultimately, there are a number of things at our core that cause us not to do what it is that we know we need to do or we feel we should be doing in order to achieve success. What are those things for you? What is it that you are putting off, or that you know you should be doing or could be doing that you're not doing right now? And often when we take an honest look at these things, we can make an assessment without judgment, because it's the judgment that tends to cause procrastination in the first place. So I'm not going to make this because I feel like nobody wants to hear it. That's a self-judgment that is preventing me from taking the action of recording the content. Or I might be frightened that the content is rubbish and I'm a failure and I'm not good enough, and therefore I'm not going to do it. So a fear of failure, of feeling like it's not going to matter, it's not going to make a difference, what's the point? All of these conversations go on inside of our minds, and they themselves can be enough to stop us actually doing the thing that we want to do. Think about the last time you were about to embark on something really special, or potentially really special, and you went, no, can't be bothered. And the effect then that has on you living the life that you want to live. And often, if we look at ourselves honestly, with candor, we see those gaps and those areas. I know I should be doing more of this. I know I could be doing more of that. And I'm not. And yet you look at other people out there and you go, wow, I want to be like that. I want to have that level of success. I want to have that level of influence. I want to have that level of impact. I want to work with these people. I want to help these people. And yet we still sit in stagnation because procrastination stops us from moving forward. So fear can show up in multiple ways. It can show up in that fear of failure. It can show up in a fear of success. So the idea that I might have to change to be successful, that can be a fear in and of itself, not just the fear of failure. And the fear of perfectionism, it has to be perfect. It's linked to either failure or success, or a perception of that. But it can also, fear of failure can also be linked to your own sense of worth. How much do you value you, and how much do you appreciate the special being that you truly are? And when there is a disconnect there, the sense of it needing to be perfect can be a reflection of us not feeling perfect, us not feeling worthy, and therefore we can't put content out because it's not perfect, we're not perfect, and we're not worthy. And reality check, nobody's perfect, nobody is worthy, no matter how high their production values are, how wonderful they look on the outside. People are people all day long. And so when we appreciate and realize this, then from that place, the goal then is to step forward, one foot in front of the other, so that we are making progress on being better versions of ourselves, better today than we were yesterday. And that really is all that matters, not how many likes you get, how content is received, how what you do then is fed back into how well you're doing or any kind of validation and all of that. None of that really matters. All that matters is you showing up in service of others in a way that you evolve through the process and you help others to do the same. And if that's happening, really nothing matters, does it? If you're showing up in service, if you are truly having an impact on those people that you serve, then all of those fears, all of a sudden, they don't hold any weight. They just don't have a foothold. They don't have a seat at the table. Or they have a seat at the table, but they don't have a voice. Because now we're just focused on the love outcome, on the outcome of you being the best version of you, and of the people you serve getting the most maximum impact transformation in their lives through you or with your help, so that they too can be the best version of themselves. And when you break it down like that, it really becomes quite simple, quite straightforward, and quite matter of fact. Now I can feel in my energy as I'm sharing that, we're in that place together now of just being like objective, detached place of witness consciousness, seeing, observing what's going on without being caught up in the storm, in the melee, in the maelstrom of emotion and thought. Now that's all well and good when you're able to bring yourself into that place. The difficulty then arises in the moment when we find ourselves caught up. And so I've practiced Jiu-Jitsu for a number of years. And yesterday I was in a Jiu-Jitsu lesson with my instructor, and we were doing something called passing the guard in BJJ. And at the end of our passing guard session, I asked a question about a moment when I felt I lost control and my instructor was able to effortlessly pass to side control, to pass around my legs and get into the next part of the process. And in my head, I was thinking I had to make a connection and I lost a connection. And actually, the real issue arose not in the losing of the connection, but in the understanding that I'd lost a connection, in the perception and the knowledge in here of how and where that circumstance changed. And so in that moment of fighting, being able to see what's going on and being able to assess takes a lot of the ability to step back and see and observe, just like it does when we're feeling emotions and thinking loads of thoughts. Because it is a melee, it's a maelstrom, it's like a fight, it's all over the place. And to get good at BJJ, you really have to become good at being in this moment. If we are passing guard and I've got thoughts of something else that's further down the lane, down the road, then I'm missing what's going on in this moment passing the guard. Same is true in business. Same is true in life. If you are in this moment, oh, what about this and maybe that, and if this happens, then I won't do that, and if this is not perfect, then that. All of a sudden, you're not now in the moment. And this moment, the only one that matters, remember, this moment is tick, tick, ticking away. This moment is leaving you as we speak. And therefore, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could take that step back in the moment when we feel least able to do so, and just sit and be quiet and be still and allow ourselves to be extracted from that melee of thought or furnace of emotion that prevents us taking the action we know we need to take. And so really what we're pointing to here is in you taking the time for you to do that inner work that is going to allow you to see just as I was able to see, oh, the connection broke there in that move, in that martial arts move. In your business, oh, I'm really overthinking this, aren't I? I'm putting too much into this, and now I'm procrastinating as a result. Hold on. Now, before I get to that, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to choose to still do anyway. I've got a cold at the moment. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm full of cold. I'm a bit spluttery. I don't feel a 10 out of 10 at the moment. And yet, rather than procrastinate the procrastination topic, I've decided to hit record, sandwiched in between two very important meetings, just to share what's going on in my journey, in the hope that it will help you in yours. And that really is all any of us can do, is to just show up in service of others and be mindful in the moment. Viktor Frankl says that in the moment between stimulus and response, we have a choice. And in that choice lies our growth and our freedom. So being able to exercise that choice is your life's work. Your ability to step back from that melee, to step back from that firestorm of emotion and thought that stop you making forward progress. And when you can step back, when you can exercise that muscle of recognizing, I see what's going on, that's when you grow, and that's when you will truly step in to the freest, most truest expression of self. And when you do that, your service, your impact will soar. It will soar because you are fulfilling what you are on this planet to do. You're living as the truest expression of you. And then in that energy, procrastination doesn't have a place, because now we are not entertaining the idea that it has to be perfect. We are just fulfilling our duty, our calling to help others, to serve others, and for us to thrive in that service of others. And so my invitation to you is to sit with yourself, like do that inner work that allows you to see in that moment. Because when those thoughts come up, you have a choice. You in there, you have a choice how you respond. In that moment between the thought coming up and you jumping into the water and following along with the thought, or you choosing to stay sat on the bank and watch the thought go by. Because it will go by just as water flows down a river. It will flow and it will disappear. And then another thought will come. And then another thought will come. And another and another. And how beautiful it is when you're able to sit and watch without being swept away. Just watching those thoughts and watching them flow. And it becomes quite a fun game because you're able to go, oh, look at that. You've got a cold, Colin. Don't record your episode today. Wait till tomorrow till you feel a bit better. Leave it till tomorrow. I see that. I want to watch it go along. Colin, you've not got long. You've only got another 5 minutes and then you're in a really important call that you can't miss. Oh, I see it going along. I'm going to hit the record button anyway. I'm going to play with this now because I'm in a different place. I'm looking at that in a different place. And we just need to bring that awareness to ourselves, because otherwise, I've not got time. I've only got 30 minutes. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to spend time messing with this instead. You got a cold. Give yourself a break. Don't do it. You don't need to do it today. And just leave it till next time. Be okay. That's sometimes, look, again, sometimes we need self-love. It's a time for self-love and there's a time for everything. To everything, there is a time and a season under heaven. A time to live, a time to die, a time to laugh, and a time to cry. And so I appreciate the rhythm of things, but also we have to impose our will at the right time. So being able to discern when fear, thought, emotion is stopping us in our tracks is part of what we're talking about. It's part of that level of awareness, that ability to see from the place of witness conscious. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the person seeing, feeling those things inside of you. And so the more you can connect to that true, they call it the higher self, your soul, your spirit, however you want to frame it, it's all good. It's you connecting to you inside of you, not the thoughts, not the emotions, that you that knows you're in there right now. Connecting to that, spending time with you allows you then to find that moment between stimulus and response and to choose growth and to choose freedom. And that's my invitation to you this week, is to try and catch yourself. I do it in the car a lot. I'll be driving down the road and somebody will cut me up, or we'll be in a 40 mile an hour and somebody's doing 24 or something like that, right? And I'm like, and my head starts to go fill up with blood, and I'm like, I feel the anger rising in me. And previously I would have like overtook them and beat my horn and done all of that. And now I not always, nobody's perfect, remember, not always. I don't always catch myself, but most times now I can catch myself and kind of feel like my blood pressure rising, feel the blood flowing in my head, and my eye is about to pop. And I'm like, oh, there we go. I see it. And then when I'm able to see it like that and just watch it flow by, I'm able to appreciate. And I can't tell you the amount of beautiful moments I've had when I've actually been able to choose that moment and watch and just like notice something going by that I wouldn't have noticed otherwise, bring myself back to the moment, and always coming back to this present moment. And so my invitation with you is to play with that same thing, to play with being in this moment right now and being able to choose in the moment between stimulus and response. Because that's where you'll find your growth, and that's where you'll find your freedom. I'll see you next time.